So you're walking down the street. A police officer in full uniform with his badge and his gun walks up to you and says, "Hey, what have you been doing tonight?" What do you do? Well, first of all, just be polite. Now, by polite, I don't mean tell him your whole life story. If an officer asks for your identification, give it to him. It's no big deal. But don't give him the fake ID that's also in your wallet. I would recommend strongly against carrying a fake ID. It really doesn't help. Nor does going to the party or the bar without your identification, thinking your student ID is going to be good enough. That doesn't work either. So he approaches, he says, "What are you doing tonight?" And you can say nothing. Remember, under the United States Constitution, you have an absolute right to remain silent. In this situation, all you have to do is give him your ID. So you give him your ID, you hand it to him. He says, "Have you been drinking tonight?" You don't have to answer. "Why won't you talk to me?" "Well, I just don't talk to police officers. I don't care to." There's also a discussion in the law that at some point you should ask that officer, "Hey, am I being detained? Am I in custody or not?" Because see, the rules change. When you are being held by a police officer, then he has to read you your Miranda rights. You know that thing you hear on TV about you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Well, he doesn't have to tell you that until you're being detained or held in custody by him. Now, a lot of people want to believe that if I'm just polite and cooperative with a police officer, it'll be easier on me. I want to work with the word cooperate. Cooperate does not mean tell him everything you know. You answer an officer's questions. You can answer them honestly. If the answer is going to get you into trouble, like, "Yes, I just took down 10 drinks of vodka 5 minutes ago," you don't want to tell him that. If he says, "Have you been drinking tonight?" you don't have to answer that either. But one caveat to all this wonderful legal advice when you're under 21, it's really easy to talk about it when you're sober. It's really hard to talk about when you're not. It's a difficult thing to do. So you're driving down the street in your little automobile. You get pulled over by the police. You suddenly panic because you realize you just had a drink at the bar about an hour and a half ago. Well, slow down. You have rights in this situation. First of all, again, be polite to the officer. When he comes up to the window, you can roll it down a little bit. You don't have to roll it down all the way, just enough to talk to him so that he can hear you and you can hear him. Don't make any admissions about how much you have been drinking. An officer is there. He's going to base his behavior on what he is able to observe. You are obligated under the law of this state and most states in the Union to give him a breath sample if he requests that. The first one will be a preliminary breath test, a little black box that they hand you. You blow into it. If he finds, after having you do some field sobriety tests, you know, the good old heel to toe, finger to nose thing. If he believes that you've ingested alcohol, he then has the authority to arrest you, take you to the county jail, and give you a more formal breathalyzer test that will be usable in court to determine whether you are in fact guilty of drinking and driving. In our state, we have multiple levels of drinking and driving. If you're under 21, you can get a minor BAC. If you're above 21, you can get an operating while visibly impaired. You can get an operating while intoxicated, and then you can also have what's called super drunk. Super drunk is when you score higher than a 17 on a breath score. Operating while intoxicated is .08 up to .17. Again, 17 and above is a super drunk.